So, up next for you, we've got Malcolm Norris, who's the Managing Director of Sunstone Metals. Malcolm's talking to you about gold copper discoveries in Ecuador, one of the more exotic places that we've got on the agenda for over the next couple of days. So please welcome Malcolm.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to present. I've got a few slides to go through, so we'll dive straight into this and leave you with a taste of what's happening at Sunstone. So market cap shown there at 77. We've come off a little bit in the last couple of weeks. We're sitting at about a $60 million market cap. That cash and equities position was from the last quarter, so the June quarter. So we've been very well funded. Our top 20 comprises a combination of institutional funds and family offices. So we've got a very strong, stable, supportive top 20 shareholders, and board and management have invested their own cash into the company, so we're fully aligned with shareholders. I won't talk a lot about Ecuador, but just to say it's absolutely pro-mining. They're heading into some presidential elections. But both of the candidates are pro-mining. And that's supported by all the major companies being present in Ecuador. So the BHPs, Anglo Americans, etc., all have a presence there. Not surprising, because the belt of rocks that contain the world's largest gold and copper porphyries extends from Chile up through Peru and into Ecuador and continues into Colombia. So hugely prospective. There'll be lots of discoveries in Ecuador over the next 5 or 10 years. And we've got a couple of them in front of us with both of our projects, Bramaderos in the south, El Palmar in the north. Simple investment proposition, discovery adds huge value. And the team at Sunstone have been involved in a couple of these discoveries in the past. In Indonesia, with Intrepid Mines, the company went from 50 million market cap to just over $1 billion in about 18 months on the back of a big discovery. And a similar story from SolGold in Ecuador, where we took SolGold into Ecuador and established the Cascabel project. So huge value to be added through discovery, and we're in the process of making those discoveries at the moment. So if we talk about Bramaderos, southern Ecuador, very easy to get to. You fly into the local town, commercial flight. You drive for an hour and 20 minutes on the Pan American Highway and you're on our project site. 900 metres above sea level. Power infrastructure is there. We've already done a desktop assessment, so there's plenty of power available for a large mining development. And importantly, 93% of Ecuador's power is renewable. So the image on the left just shows Brahma Alba, which is where we've got our resource, Limon, where we're drilling at the moment, and then our drill core processing facility. And that's where we process core from both of our projects. So everything is done there. So this is the Bramaderos concession. The red is where we've got gold in soil. So you see we've got multiple targets. We've drilled on a number of them, but not all of them. So the resource that we put out at the end of 22 was from Brahma Alba. So you can see it there, 2.7 million ounces gold equivalent. It's large, it's low grade, but that's what porphyries are all about. And we supported that, because in our view that was quite a conservative resource. We supported that with an exploration target, which captured material around the pit and below the pit and into the adjoining porphyry target, and that was 3.3 to 8.6 million ounces. So we've gone public saying we expect this to be a 10 million ounce field. What we needed to find was a high-grade front end to this project, and we identified the Limon target as the most likely opportunity. That sits up there in the northeast. We went there and we discovered high-grade material. So we've done exactly as we said we would, and this provides the front-end development opportunity for a much larger porphyry opportunity located right next to the Pan American Highway. So I'll talk a bit about that epithermal gold opportunity in a minute, but as you can see there, intersections, the best we've had, 240 metres at just over a gram of gold, but within that interval there was 31 at 13 grams, for example. So a great high-grade opportunity up front, close to surface. It'll be open pittable. So this is the big porphyry. This is Brahma Alba, 1.6 kilometres long. The resource was done by CSA, so a tier 1 consulting group. This is a conservative resource, pit constrained. As I said, it's only 900 metres above sea level. You can see there that there's not a lot of vegetation. It's pretty dry, and we're nowhere near other villages, etc. there on the west side of the highway. So that's the resource captured in the pit. Exploration target captures the material below it and beside it. And if you look carefully, you can see that some of the higher grade drill holes are closer to surface. So again, that would help a development with higher grade material being mined first, and your strip ratio is very low because you're mining a hill. But this is the game changer. This is Le Mans. So high grade from surface and right next to another porphyry target. So the green lines are structures. They contain high-grade gold, and where those structures intersect, you get extra high-grade gold. And you can see on the section there on the right, that's perfect geometry for an open pit development, and again, a fairly low strip ratio. If we step out a bit now and have a look at the broader Le Mans target, so this is 1.7 kilometres by 700 metres. The main area outlined in blue, the larger area, that's where we're drilling, but you can see that other area outlined in blue in drill hole 33. We put out the results of that this morning on the ASX, and hole 33 has intersected 2 metres at 9 grams. So it means automatically our search area is much larger, and it gives us a lot of confidence in those other red circled areas that are all gold in soil anomalies, that we're going to discover a number of these near surface high grade gold opportunities. So that's what will get us started. If we then look at what comes next, so the image on the left, all the purple is that epithermal gold area, and then the large pink lozenge in the middle is a porphyry target. We've put one hole into that porphyry target, quite shallow, 80 metres at porphyry grades, 0.5 and 0.2. But you can see the schematic on the right. That's a drill target that's lined up for drilling. We won't be drilling that this year. We'll probably get to that next year. But it adds immense scale to that 10 million ounce opportunity that we think is at Bramaderos, and we've already found the high-grade front end. So this project will get developed, and without doubt, it's of interest to a number of the majors. As we know, the majors, the Barricks, the Newmonts, etc., all want a bit of copper with their gold, and that's exactly what we're delivering here. So that's Bramaderos very quickly. We'll now go to the north. This is El Palmar. Close to Quito, the capital city. It takes 3 hours to drive. Again, there's power infrastructure. It's renewable. There's a hydro facility just down the valley from where we're exploring. Importantly, we're on this regional system called the Toachi Fault, and that's the same system that controls the 3 billion tonne Cascabel discovery of Sol gold that those of us at Sunstone were involved in the early days. So we know this area very well. So this is what we've got. We've got a cluster of porphyries, 2.5 kilometres long by 1 kilometre wide. T1 shown there with most of the drill holes. That's mineralisation from surface down to about 500 metres below surface. T5, a small target, that's also mineralisation from surface. But T3 is the really significant one. 1 kilometre diameter target. We've drilled 2 holes, both are mineralised at ore grade. So again, we're very confident that this will build tonnes as we drill more holes. This is what it looks like in cross-section. This is a section through a magnetic model. So the more magnetic rocks are associated with gold and copper. T1, you can see on the left there, we've drilled that upper zone, so that's the upper 500 metres. That's a porphyry in its own right. And then you can also see the 2 drill holes, 26 and 28, drilled into T3. One drilled 200 metre width intersection, the other 250 metre width intersection at porphyry grade. So this is about 0.6 gold equivalent. That's that area there. So magnetic anomaly drilled, got mineralisation, haven't found the edges of it. It's a very significant discovery. We then look at this one, which is a much stronger magnetic signature. That's never been drilled. We just haven't put a drill hole into that yet. And then underneath T1, we'll probe that area at some point as well with some deeper drill holes. But how does that compare to what we're looking for? This is at the same scale, the Cascabel Alpala deposit, 3 billion tonnes. It's the same depth below surface, so the top of their ore body starts at about 600 metres below surface. And the pink area is greater than 0.3 copper equivalent, which is about 0.45 to 0.5 gold equivalent. So that's why we're very comfortable with these deep intersections at T3. They're definitely ore grade for a bulk mining development. This is in plan, same area. So T1 you can see up in the northwest there with a number of drill holes into it. And then T3 close to the Toachi Fault. We haven't drilled the main part of the magnetic anomaly. That's scheduled to be drilled. And then we've got the large target off to the south. Again, you compare that to a 3 billion tonne ore body. This is Cascabel Alpala with the drill holes. Very consistent scale with what we're finding at El Palmar. So we're pretty comfortable that we can deliver and join that club of greater than billion tonne porphyry deposits delivering gold and copper resources that the gold majors and the diversified majors are looking for. Often get asked about grade, so just a taste here. This is hole 26. We do get higher grade zones, so we're dealing with intervals that are comfortably above 1 gram gold equivalent. So what's ahead of us? At Brahmaderos, exploration target this year, I expect, followed by a resource upgrade early next year. That'll position us to, at the right time, go in towards scoping studies and demonstrate that that 10 billion tonne target is definitely achievable. 10 million ounce target is definitely achievable. At El Palmar, that's where we want to join the 1 billion tonne porphyry club. We think we're well on the way. And as we know from those of you that have followed SolGold and those of you that have followed other juniors that make big porphyry discoveries, these are desirable assets held by the majors primarily. So I'll leave you with that, and happy to talk to you at the booth and ask any more detailed questions.
You happy to field just a couple?
Sure, yeah.
Are there any questions for Malcolm? I've got a couple, but anyone have any from the floor? I know you touched on the grades, but I think obviously with the SolGold reference and as work went on there, there was a lot of investigation into the depth and what's feasible. How are you guys going about your interpretation and then your assessment of what grades are acceptable at what depth for you to be truly encouraged?
Yeah, so there's a few components to that answer, and I'll just use a slide to give you a good idea of what's going on. So the grade, these are porphyry grades. Admittedly, there's a bit more gold than copper, but I think that puts us in a good position because the gold companies want gold copper porphyries at the moment. SolGold grades are comparable to what we're getting. We do need to find some more high grade, and we'll do that as shown by that picture of the core. But what you really need here, and Cadia is a great example in New South Wales, you need an open pittable resource that you can mine first to enable you to pay back your capital, and then you can start to talk about big block caves and big tonnage underground developments. We've got that already in T1, so our surface to 500 metre T1 discovery is delivering that nearby open pit opportunity. So the grades are okay so long as you've got the right tonnage and you've got that scheduling to enable you to pay back startup capital.
Okay, and we have got a couple of minutes, and just because you're in Ecuador and it's a slightly different flavour, I know you can't say much about what's happening there with the politics, but can you give the audience an idea of just what it's like to be in Ecuador and trying to move a project forward? So I've just come back from Ecuador. There's currently presidential elections going on. So what's been hitting the news over the last month? One was a report of a presidential assassination. It wasn't quite that simple. It appears that there were other things going on. So I don't actually link that to the presidential race. The two candidates that are going off against each other on October 15th, one centre left, one centre right, both pro-mining, both foreign investment. That country risk issue is absolutely endorsed by the majors that are still there and are there for the long haul, the BHPs and the Anglo-Americans. I met them while I was there. Both are absolutely committed to Ecuador. The issue that has to be managed by the incoming president is that Ecuador is in the middle of Colombia and Peru, both large drug-producing countries, and they've used Ecuador as a transport hub to send their product to Europe, and that needs to be brought under control. The best way to bring that under control is have a healthy economy,
and they see mining as contributing to that. At the moment, it's delivering about 3% GDP. They want it to get towards 10%. So they're supporting mining, and the two modern operating mines that are there, they're the richest provinces in Ecuador because of the mining.
Malcolm, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Oops.